Your Excellency, Madam Ambassador, distinguished guests and dear friends. It's a real privilege for me to be able to take part in this very interesting seminar. And for me, I will, of course, if I can keep the nice badge, I will try to wear it as much as possible, because I found the ideas that you presented very, very interesting. And we are indeed in a historic momentum in the Swedish-Indian relations. In 2016, as the ambassador told us, Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Löfven met in Mumbai and issued a joint statement. And when you take part of this, if you sort of look into this joint statement, you will see that it's really a broad and forward-looking and visionary direction for our cooperation. And it manifests a very high ambition in the Indian-Swedish relations. And for me, it's a real pleasure to take part of the statement, since it emphasizes the importance of skills development, both in India and in Sweden. And this is an area where cooperation can contribute to both our economies. And I really look forward to further the Indian-Swedish mutual interest in skills development with further cooperation in the future. We are living in a world which is moving very fast. We see globalization, we see digital transformation, we see urbanization, all of this creating a big demand for skills. And if you look at skills developments in an advanced economy or in an economy which is moving very, very fast, you will see that there are different kinds of needs. The labor market itself and the competitiveness in the economy itself really needs skills. It needs skills in order to make sure that skills shortages are met. And all over India, all over Sweden, we see that we have problems with skill shortages, despite the fact that our economies are moving so fast. We also see that if you take the Swedish example, unemployment in Sweden is continuing to go down very quickly. And the employment rates in Sweden are the highest in the European Union. But still, too many persons, too many individuals don't have a job due to lack of skills, due to shortage of skills. And like in India, like in Sweden, we see that we have a problem with unemployment simply because of certain groups lacking in the labor market, and employers having big difficulties finding the right persons to do the job, the person with the right skills. If skills shortage is something which is to be met with education, we also have another aspect of skills with it, which is skills mismatch. We see that we have large groups with skills that the labor economy can't make use of, and at the same time, large groups which simply lack the skills that are needed in the economy. And this is well known that it creates bottlenecks, it leads to opportunities lost in a competitive economy. Now, education, of course, is in this area is always the key and the solution. But education in this area is not only basic education. Education is also lifelong learning. I would like to see, in Sweden we have a saying that we try not to protect jobs. We try instead to provide workers with so much skills so that they can take up the new jobs when the old jobs go away. And if we want to make sure that that happens, we need to look at education as not as a safety net, but as a springboard, and our social security systems as springboards rather than safety nets. And if we want that to happen, education is of course key. The Swedish government has allocated huge resources into skills development and lifelong learning for many reasons. One reason is that we want all individuals to have the opportunities to make the best of the labor market, which is very strong. But the other reason is, of course, that we want to make sure that the labor market that the employers in the labor market and the new entrepreneurs can find the skills they need. And with a Swedish example, we always mention the Swedish model. We're very fond of our Swedish model. And I just like to underline that in this Swedish model where social partners, government and individuals cooperate, we try to make sure that education is the tool in order to make sure that every individual can find a job. When we discuss Swedish-Indian relations, it's impossible not to look into our mutual interests, and the ambassador touched upon some of these aspects. The Swedish companies today employ more than 200,000 Indians directly, and somewhere around 1 million Indians indirectly. And many Swedish companies such as IKEA, H&M, etc. will continue to contribute to the upgrading of skills in the Indian retail area. But also we see that many Swedish companies take a great interest in putting up skills programs. And during my visit in India earlier this year, which was a life-changing event for me, and an event which left me with a lasting love for India, I had the opportunity to witness a signing ceremony between the India-Sweden Business Leaders Roundtable Skills Development Chapter and Prathap on financing the education of 50,000 girls and boys, which otherwise might have dropped out from elementary schools for 3 years, which is of course a fantastic thing. Looking in the other direction, which the ambassador also did, we see the Indian diaspora contributing in a fantastic way to the Swedish economy, not least with valuable competence in the ICT sector, where Sweden and not least Stockholm has a really great interest, and we are very, very happy to be able to welcoming so many skilled immigrants from India to Sweden. And this is an area where we also have good and valuable discussions with the embassy and with India, so we're very happy with that. Actually, if you look at the Swedish ICT industry, you will see that approximately 3,000 Swedish new work permits are issued to Indian citizens per year. And this is not only an important contribution to the Swedish economy and the Swedish competitiveness, it's also the largest number of skilled immigrants from any country in Sweden. So for very many reasons, I'm really looking forward not only to today's interesting seminars and to the fantastic festival going on in the streets of Stockholm, but also and even more to develop the cooperation between Sweden and India. Thank you so much.